I'm surprised we don't hear about this more often. And basically what happened was firemen responded to a fire in Pinal. It's reported that they responded in about 30 minutes or so. I think the first fire truck. And eventually, it wasn't long before they ran out of water and they were trying to find a fire hydrant. And then the follow-up truck or the next truck, I think it took another half an hour to get there. I'm not, perhaps the time. That's what I believe was reported in one newspaper. Regardless, the point is, the fire savers ran out of water fighting a fire. By the time the second truck came, I believe the owner of the house, more or less, or a family member, was reported to have said, well, he already knew it was too late. I'm not sure, but I do think, yes, it's not so simple. It's not as though the truck could carry all the water it needs to fight the fire. I get that, right? Why is it so hard, though? Like, I get that there are going to be practical limitations, but it's similar to the situation with the land dispute, where they made reports to the police, and nothing was done, and now 3 men over the course of 2 years were murdered. And so, yes, there are practical considerations, but to some extent, we do have to have some kind of systems to at least try. And in this case now with the fire, those cases with the murders are a bit more complex. So if you're not following where it's similar, let's just go back to the fire. This case with the fire, how is it that firemen have to be looking for the fire hydrant? Is it that, it was overgrown or stuff was built around it? They put signs, somebody put a vendor stall illegally near it. Did a big truck park next to it and I just didn't know to look on the sidewalk side? It was also reported that neighbors had to lend the fire officers ladders and headlights, as well as an agricultural pump in order to try to pump water out of somebody's water tank. So if I don't have those things available, what's going to happen to my house if my house catches on fire? So I do wonder, to what extent, I believe the TTPS is overworked. To what extent is our fire service, does it have enough personnel? We know the TTPS doesn't have enough personnel, according to the Social and Welfare Association. Does the fire service have enough personnel? I mean, the question of equipment came up. The last time, do we have enough people? Do we have enough equipment? Again, it comes up. And why is it that they weren't able to secure a water supply from a hydrant? This seems to be basic, something so basic and fundamental for the systems of how a society will deal with a fire. You have to have hydrants because the water in a fire truck is never going to be enough. This was a large house. But even for a small house, potentially, it's not going to be enough. They have to carry a lot on a truck. Water is also technically heavy. You're trying to suppress what could be a large blaze. Even a small house, it's still a relatively large blaze. It's going to take a lot of water for that. Is it that the firemen don't know how to find a hydrant? I don't know how difficult it is, but regardless of how difficult it is, one would hope that this is not going to be where the success or failure of firefighting efforts is going to lie, on the capacity for firefighters to secure water. It didn't say that the hydrant, I don't believe they said the hydrant had no water. Of course, that's the other flip side to it. When areas are on water rations, exactly what is the water supply coming to a hydrant? So I'm just beside myself with the harsh reality that, from what I understand, the owner of the house is a pensioner, and he put a lot of work and money into that house, and he does not have the capacity to, the house is insured, yes, but fix it, potentially to have to rebuild it, because I don't think they have a full assessment on the fire damages. But also, there were belongings in the house that were essentially irreplaceable, personal belongings. Everybody could think about stuff that they own, that they store at home, that they know. Yeah, you could try to get a replacement, but it won't be the same. So I don't know what the Minister of National Security is going to say about this, but the question of equipment has come up. I am asking about personnel as well, but all of that is a moot point. If they can't find a fire hydrant, what's going on there? The most basic of things. Lastly,